number 5, that is preparation of next, that is number 5, that preparation of learning materials. Preparation learning materials means what? The best instructional inputs are selected. First, best instructional inputs are selected. The learning materials should be prepared considering the terminal behavior and the nature of the selected input. That means the for effective teaching, the teacher should prepare the learning materials. Otherwise, learning materials which will best help to the learners, that learning materials should be very comprehensive. Learning materials on terminal behavior, how it will be developed, or behavior how it will be changed, that depends on the best use of teaching learning materials. And the best thing is that learning materials should be given sequentially, orderly. That learning material that should be given. And next step, that is laboratory tryout. Then laboratory tryout means that learning materials are to be tested first. The materials which are prepared by the teacher, that taking the small sample, it is tested first, and after testing, it will be given to field tryout. That means after trying, it is known as the laboratory tryout. They are taking the small sample of the students. This is tested, and after try a small tryout, or that is laboratory tryout, field tryout, it is conducted. That field tryout means large sample, that is to taking the large sample, it is tested, and the why does this field laboratory tryout take place? Why it is? Why you say? My question is, why laboratory tryout it is conducted? Why? Lisa, you say, why laboratory tryout is conducted taking small sample of the students? Why? Because if small sample, taking small sample, then if we test on some small sample, then we can know some lacuna, some mistakes we can find out. So if it is not possible, if by taking small sample we cannot find any mistake, then it will be tried out on large sample. And when we conduct taking the large sample, if some mistakes are again found out, then it can be rectified and the systems are revised. And this is the 7th step, and this is what we say all. And last is, that is the 8th step, that is revision and outcome. And all these things are revised. Some if mistakes are there, that is corrected. That after correcting the mistakes, then final form of instructional system we get. And it may be also, it may be rectified, and this is the continuous process. This is if there is some, again there we find that some rectification necessary, then we can also rectify it. And all these 8 steps are there for instructional or the system approach. So next, how we can select the instructional inputs. Yeah, out of the main point asila, selection of instructional inputs. Selection of how can we select instructional input? That means by which process, or the by basing on which parameters we can select the instructional inputs. So first is that instructional objectives. That instructional objectives. Suppose I will give an example. Suppose two passengers are there. One of whom one passenger will go to Mumbai and other passenger will go to Chennai. But these two passengers, they will not go by one way. Then the one person will go to Mumbai, other person will go to Chennai, and the person who will go to Mumbai, the destination is same. A destination is different. The persons are different. Destinations are different and persons are different. But by which process they will go to Mumbai? Or they one passenger may go to Mumbai by plane, or another person may go to Chennai by train. But the thing is that here, that the person who goes to Mumbai by plane, that here the time factor is less. The person who is going to Chennai by train, the time factor is big. That means more time is taken by train, less time is taken by plane. My objective is of telling is that the two persons, that means their intention is to go by either train or plane. Their objective, the person who is wanting to go by train, that he is consuming more time. The person who is going by flight, that he is saving the time. This is the interpretation. But the person, that means selection depends on one desire. आमे कहबानी जे से कांगी जाउछि ये जो सिलेक्शन करछि से निजे निजे सिलेक्शन करछि that how can I save the time, because he has money, therefore he is going by plane. He has no more money because he is going by train. This is the system, that how does he select. Therefore my purpose of telling this example is that the how does he select. This is the thing. He selects by going train or by going plane. How money is, what amount of money is saved. This is the selection. So this is how we can select the instructional input. The first is, that is the process. First process is instructional objectives. That means first the teacher should do. The teacher should all these things are related to higher education. That first step or first criteria of selecting instructional input is the instructional objective. That means instructional objective that should be fixed when instructional input is given. Instructional objective means, can you tell me the instructional objective? Can you give the example of all the different objectives under different cognitive domains or different domains? What are the objectives under cognitive domain? Manachi? Hello?
नहीं सर, किसी मने नहीं सर,
suppose knowledge, understanding or comprehension, knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation, all these are the instructional objectives.
Can I answer that? Sir, can I answer that?
What? Yes.
What is the cognitive domain mean? The cognitive domain involves knowledge and the development of intellectual skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, etc.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, all these things. Yes. But cognitive domain, according to Bloom, that he has classified some objectives under cognitive domain, and these are the knowledge. Knowledge is the very lower domain of the lower objective of the domain. This cognitive domain, knowledge, understanding, or comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis. But these are the 6 objectives which comes under this cognitive domain as given by Dr. B.S. Bloom in the year 1956. Okay, so instructional objectives. Instructional objectives first that should be fixed by the teacher, and second is that learner characteristics. Whenever some input is given to the students, that input means what? Input means some learning experiences are given. Learning experiences means the content which the teacher wants to teach the students in the classroom, and for the teaching learning process, that learner's characteristics are very much essential. That means the learner characteristics help for injecting the inputs among the learners. What are they? They are the socio-economic background, habits, learner character, or emotional. If the students they are having good if they emotional condition, learn.
Sir, your
Therefore,
sound is not clearly
learning
audible, sir.
are ठीक. So learner character for instructional the objectives I have completed. Second characteristics is social of the learner, background of the learning habits of the mental conditions of the learner, and another thing that reading of the reading the students how much time they give in library study. This is also learner characteristics. So third one is nature of discipline. Nature of discipline here is subject, not the discipline means discipline indiscipline. It is not so. Here nature of discipline means the subject. What is the nature of subject? That means you see, for teaching science, for teaching mathematics, for teaching language. So these are the different subjects. This is this type of these different types of subjects. When the teacher teaches, the methodology differs. Different methodologies are necessary, are required for teaching different subjects. Suppose in science that experiment is needed. For language, experiment is not needed. Therefore, different nature of different subjects are differed. Therefore, this is the all these different steps. Next step, that is fourth step, the availability of resources. That what resources are available for teaching learning process, for instruction, whether TV, computer, TLM, or infrastructure, or classroom, or time period. All these things are the availability of resources. These are very helpful for teaching learning process, that is for instruction. So fifth, that is size of group. If the size of the classroom is big, then it is not at all possible for the teacher and also on the part of for the students, for the teaching, for the students to understand that if the big classroom is there, then the students, they cannot listen the voice of the teacher. Therefore, the classes should be minimized. That it should be the different size of a group should be created consisting of 5 to 10 students, and also it will be very easy for any type of discussion or question answer session. Therefore, a good group that should be consisted of taking 20 to 30 students. Therefore, it will be it will be possible on the part of the learner to learn and understand the topic which is given by the teacher. And the sixth is the ability of the teacher. That means what ability the teacher possesses to explain the content, to explain the learning experiences. That depends on the experience of the teacher. That depends on the strategy used by the teacher. That depends on the techniques used by the teacher. These are all these things, that ability of the teacher. And the seminar should be conducted by which the students they can will understand the topic. These are the different things what I discussed. And then the another important factor is that the role of the teacher in instructional system. Here, what is the role of the teacher? The role of the teacher, that during teaching learning process or instruction, what role the teacher exhibits. That first is teacher as an input. Teacher as an input. Second, teacher as a systemist. That means teacher as an input means that whatever input that the teacher gives the students, or input that injects the students, and the type of the process by which the type of input and the process of providing input to the students, that is very essential. The teacher as an input, that means the role which is played by the teacher for giving instruction to the students, that depends on the ability of using or strategy or techniques by the teacher. So how can the teacher give input? The teacher can give input through providing printed material to the students, by providing audio video programs to the students, by providing some discussion process. That means by giving chance or giving discussion session or the demonstration. These are the different inputs, process of inputs by which the teacher can teach the students. This is the teacher as an input, a role played by the teacher. Automatically the teacher always teaches, but apart from this, what other things can be provided by the teacher? Teacher is teaching in the classroom. The teacher is giving lecture in the classroom. Not only this lecture is essential for the input to the students, besides it, the printed materials, handout materials are necessary for the students. Therefore, these handout materials or printed materials are very much essential for the students to understand the topic or learning experiences. And then second role of the teacher, that is teacher as a systemist. Teacher as a systemist means, before 10-15 minutes I was telling that instruction is a system, and also teacher is also a system. How can you explain the teacher is a system? uh, teacher is a system. How can you explain what are the subsystems of the teacher? ଯେମିତି କାର ଗୋଟେ subsystem ବହୁତ ଗୁଡିଏ ଅଛି, taking all the subsystems, that a system is created. Therefore, in case of a teacher, what are the subsystems? Can you tell me what are the some subsystems of a teacher? If teacher is regarded as a systemist, then what are the subsystems that the teacher possesses? हाँ कुह कौन है ला?
Sir,
हाँ
first the leadership skill, time
yes
management, and
yes
capability to experiment with different ideas, different
हाँ yes
approach for different students, creative
very good
thinking skill, and
very good
mentorship, passionate.
yes.
That's it. Thank you,
And
sir.
also and I am adding some of the points that using modern technology also it is one subsystem. Decision maker of using technology, it is also a subsystem. How can the technology be used? And role of the teacher as a conductor, that means how can the teacher conduct the classroom? It is also one of the subsystems of a teacher. So therefore, so this is the reason, this is the reason by which we can say teacher as a systemist. And different scientific processes also are known to the teacher. Also these are the different scientific processes are also the subsystems. These are the reasons by which we can say the teacher as a systemist. So then we can, this completes your first unit, and coming to the second unit, that second unit teacher controlled instruction. Teacher controlled instruction or input alternatives. Teacher controlled. So you see, what is the teacher controlled? Teacher controlled or input alternatives. Teacher controlled input means when the degree of a participation, you see, teacher controlled means when our teaching learning process goes on, can you tell me that who is more active in the teaching learning process? Who is more active in the teaching learning process?
Students, sir.
You tell me. Huh.
Because we are pursuing the knowledge without continuing the learning process will be hampered. Although the teacher is imparting knowledge, but we are pursuing and we need to be more active than the teacher.
You need to be more active, but during in traditional method, who is who has more authority on teaching
Okay, sir.
learning process?
Teacher centered method. Okay,
Teacher,
sir.
sir.
In the
Yes,
teacher
yes,
centered
yes,
method,
yes, very
teacher,
good,
sir.
very good, very good, very good. That means one is teacher controlled input and other is learner controlled input. Two inputs are there. One is teacher controlled inputs, means what? That in case of teacher controlled inputs, that the participation of the teacher is more. That means the teacher controls the students. Here teacher controlled input means when the degree of participation of the teacher is more, or when he determines the exact process, including the pace of the presenting the messages, their sequence, etc. The alternative is known as teacher controlled input alternative. That means that in a sentence we can say that teacher control inputs means the participation of the teacher is more, that the teacher controls the classroom. The students, they have no, they have a very minimum, they interact, the students interaction is less in comparison to the teacher. In case of learner controlled inputs, that means the the learners, they are more active. The participation of the learner is more. So can you give an example in which case the students' participation is more? Can you give an example in which the students' participation is low, is more?
May I, sir? May I, sir?
Sir,
So suppose, sir, a teacher gave us one assignment to each student and told the student to deliver their ideas or their thinking or their level of knowledge regarding that particular
Yes.
topic. Then here the
Yes.
student will deliver the knowledge, the previous knowledge and also the knowledge that is previously shared by the teacher. So here we can see that the participation of the student is more. Here the
Yes.
teacher is asking question and the student is participating.
Yes, also, and another thing that that during discussion, when discussion that goes on in that discussion also helps the students to participate more. That means in learner control inputs means the students participation that will be more in case of a seminar or group discussion or project work or team teaching or during all these activities when the activities are conducted, the students participation becomes more and it is learner controlled input. That means here in learner controlled input the teacher's role is, we cannot say that the teacher has no role at all. No, the teacher only is the guide. That means the teacher only control, the teacher only sees how the process is going on. So here the learner's participation is more. And then we can say that in this particular unit, then we will define what is lecture. What is lecture? There are the different roles of the teacher. That lecture is very essential and also usually practiced by the teacher in teaching learning process. It is the best technique of the teacher. Whenever there is no teaching learning materials, whenever there is no more time for the teacher to teach, the teacher adopts this lecture method. So then now we'll discuss what is lecture. Lecture means lecture means what? The teacher first prepares some learning experiences and the learning experiences are given by the teacher before the students in the class. That is what we say one-way communication. Lecture means the one-way communication. There is no chance of the students to interact during this teaching learning process. Lecture means the students they will simply listen and they are passive. Only the teacher plays a great role in the classroom teaching learning process, and it becomes sometimes it becomes two-way communication process, but the main focus is given on one-way communication. Only the teacher here gives lecture and the students they passively listen. So this is the lecture. And now the what are the different steps of lecture? Whenever the teacher wants to give a lecture, whenever the teacher prepares the lecture for a class, then what steps the teacher can take? There are different different steps, and first is the planning of a lecture. Regarding giving a lecture, first the teacher plans the lecture. This is the first point. Steps. First step, that planning of a lecture. Before planning a lecture, so what are the different things that are to be done? First, what is to be done? First, the teacher prepares lesson plan. The teacher prepares lesson plan. The what topic and how much that is to be taught. What are the instructional objectives in this particular topic, and what is the class size, and if the class is a big one, that is to be divided into different sections. If the students are more, if that is the students, if the class size means the students are more, and what type of questions that are to be put by the teacher, that is also well planned before giving a lecture, or during planning stage. The different types of questions that should be well planned, what type of question that is to be put to the students, and also uh, how feedback is to be given, that during this planning stage of a lecture, that feedback mechanism is to be fixed, that is to be planned, and also uh, what are the different technologies that are to be used by the teacher, that should also be fixed, that charts, OSP, or laboratory equipments, or blackboard use, or sitting arrangement, and also sometimes the teacher uses some jokes for creating interest in the interesting in the for making the classroom more interesting. So these are the different plannings that during planning stage, these factors are to be taken priority. So then next second step, that is delivery of a lecture. How lecture can be delivered. So this is the second step. So during the planning stage, all these things are to be first planned. So in second step, that is delivery of a lecture. In delivery of lecture, there are three important things. First is introduction stage, introduction of a lecture. Second is development phase, and third is the consolidation phase. ବହି ଫହି ଅଛି, ବହି ତ ନାହିଁ, ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ଖାଲି ଲେଖିଦେଇଥା ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ଖାଲି ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡାକ. Delivery of a lecture, under this step there are three more important sub steps. First sub step is introduction of a lecture. And this is how the lecture is being delivered. In introduction of a lecture, first the proper rapport with the students, that is to be established. During when the teacher gives a lecture, that means during introduction of a lecture, that the teacher should do interact with the students. That means the teacher should do establish proper rapport. କେମିତି କ'ଣ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଟିକେ କହିବ, ସେଇଟା ପଢେଇବ, ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ସେ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ କ'ଣ ରାପୋର୍ଟ କରିବ, ଯେମିତି ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ ଅଫ ଆଇଡିଆଜ. That the important duty of a teacher during introduction of a lecture, that is the creation of interest and motivation among the learners. How to create the classroom more interesting. Therefore, the teacher's role is to motivate the students. If the students, they are not at all motivated, then they cannot be able to understand, or they cannot create interest in learning. Therefore, it is a very important part of a lecturer to give during lecture, he should create interest among the students, and how the students can be motivated is the role of the teacher. And also here what happens, that the teacher relates the new topic with the previous one. That what ଯେମିତି ଆମେ ଯେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଟପିକ ଆଣିବା ପାଇଁ ପିଲାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ ନଲେଜ ଟେଷ୍ଟ କରୁଛେ, like this, that the teacher relates the new topic with the old one. That means in this stage what happens, the teacher tests the previous knowledge of the students. So this is very important on the part of the teacher. First, before giving a lecture, first in creating interest is among the learners is very important. Then whatever the learning content or topic that is to be taught by the teacher, then the teacher starts lecture. And second sub step under this particular delivery of a lecture is development phase. Here first the teacher motivate the students, and second stage sub step re kon korchi, that means the teacher during this development phase, the teacher translates the ideas and information between learner and the teacher. That means whatever the learning content or experiences that are to be given by the teacher to the students, that should be given in a very easy way or easy language that should be used by the teacher. And the teacher should explain the concept or the learning experiences briefly and in an easy method or in simple language by giving examples, as a result of which they can understand well, and also uh, different illustrations, examples, and different gestures that should be exposed. And the teacher's more important technique is that eye contact with the students. That eye contact with the student that should be done by the teacher democratically to all the students, and the teacher should use gestures or physical movements during lecture. And if physical movements or gestures, it is not if the teacher does not move, or the physical movements, if it is not used by the teacher, then the classroom or the lecture, it will not an interesting one. Therefore, the gesture is very important, and physical movements of the teacher, that is very important. And the things when the teacher wants to give some audio visual aids or to use some audio visual aids during teaching learning process or during lecture, that audio visual aids that should be well prepared, or that is well tested in advance, that whether the audio visual aids are functioning well or not, that should be checked first. Otherwise, the lecture will be in vain, that it will not be a fruitful one. Therefore, the audio visual aids which the teacher uses during teaching learning process, during a lecture, that should be well checked in advance. That is very important. And another thing, that the third sub step, that is consolidation phase. That means it is the consolidation phase, means concluding phase. That means during this phase, that the teacher recollects whatever he has covered. The teacher summarizes the main teaching points during this stage, and also during this stage, the teacher should ask few questions to the students basing on the contents. And the teacher, whenever the teacher knows that learning difficulties among the students are there, whenever the students they face learning difficulties, how can the learning difficulties be known by the teacher? That when the teacher puts question to the students, if the student they are unable to answer the questions, then the teacher can know that some learning difficulties are there among the learners. Therefore, he can modify his teaching. And in this third phase, consolidation phase of lecture, he should modify his teaching in the next lecture. And in this stage, home assignment is given to the students, that which is to be done by the teacher, by the students at home. This home assignment, that is very important, which is given at the end of the lecture. So this is what we say that regarding the lecture. And then we next come to the points that different approaches to content treatment and information processing. Different approaches to content treatment and information processing. What are the different approaches? The first is लिखुछ कि? Am I audible to you all? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
टिके लिखुता बही तो ना आनी न तथा टिके खाली पॉइंट लिखिदेव था बही आनले पढ़िबो ठीक अछि what are the different approaches the first approach that is serial order presentation presentation means what that serially that should be presented logically that should be presented and relevant explanation should be given that logically give logical order and another important thing is relevant explanation. The explanation should be given by the teacher relevantly. Irrelevant explanation should not be given. This is the first approach. The second approach, that is the reverse order presentation. Reverse order presentation means what? That reverse order means that can be presented from opposite direction. That means, for example, suppose regarding a fact, if we say about a number, suppose counting or that is a natural number, if you count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a reverse order means what? 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, such and such. This is not so. This is not the meaning of a reverse order. A reverse order means deriving fact from various effects. Reverse order means suppose in a content, in a topic, the important concepts are there. The important concepts after giving regarding these different concepts, if the instruction is given or the meaning is given, that the teacher should first explain different contents in the different concepts in the content, and the teacher puts a question to the students. What do you know different concepts underlined in this particular topic? Then the student, they can say different concepts, but reverse order presentation means from suppose there are different concepts starting from first concept, second concept, third concept, fourth concept. But the purpose of reverse order presentation means that the students will not be confused in explaining different terms. Suppose suppose the teacher has given 10 concepts. First concept, second concept, third concept, fourth concept. The teacher will put questions to the students to say students about the concepts which starts from the end of the content. जो कंटेंट जो लास्ट आड़ को जो थिबो कंटेंट गुडा सेही कंटेंट पछाडुआ से पचारिबो तामे रिवर्स ऑर्डर प्रेजेंटेशन सेटा से स्टूडेंट बुझेबे जे सर एटा हला तार अर्थ जोटा कि सबले कहूची ना समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस दैट इन रिवर्स इन डायरेक्ट ऑर्डर प्रेजेंटेशन बेले बेले कंफ्यूजन पाई पिला को पूरा क्लियर अंडरस्टैंडिंग पाई टीचर बेले बेले कौन करे ना रिवर्स ऑर्डर कॉन्सेप्ट और प्रेजेंटेशन से करे जे कॉन्सेप्ट कहे जे यार अर्थ कहला तार अर्थ कहला तेणु से लगी सब जे टीचर जो 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 कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ेबो बुझेबो ताकू सब एपर सेप्ट को सब पचारथबो सेटा होची रिवर्स ऑर्डर प्रेजेंटेशन that does not mean that 10 9 8 7 this is not so that haphazardly the teacher can put the question to the students then if the students they have well understood then they can the the meaning of a particular concept. This is the reverse order presentation. That means haphazardly the teacher can put some question or some concept to the students. And the third is one narration in narration in tune with the nature of the discipline. Here discipline means subject. Narration in tune with the nature of discipline. That means the teacher assigns the students by giving specific instruction to collect information about something. The teacher gives some assignment to the students for collecting some information. Suppose about environment, the teacher can give some information to the students, can give some assignment that you collect what are the different things in the environment, what you see in the environment. They can collect trees, they can say the trees, birds, man, human beings, animals, so many things what they observe, roads, buildings, all these things they can make a list. Therefore they can narrate about environment. Another thing is that divide the students into 6 to 7 groups. The classroom should be divided. The students can be divided into several groups consisting of 5 to 7 students. As a result of which they can make a group and they can combiningly collect some information. In a group, if there are 5 or 6 students, then the different students they can give different ideas, different regarding environment. If it is an example, so one can say in environment a bird is there. Other student can say in environment the human beings they are there. Other students they can say that the roads, building, rivers, mountains, these are there. Then combiningly, when they can unite all these things, they can have a good knowledge about the environment. This is the narration. The students they can narrate about the environment, and when they have collected some information about the environment, for an example, they can present this their collection before the class. So the teacher at last, so different groups are formed first, and different groups are asked to collect information about what do you know environment, or what is environment. Regarding the concept of environment, they can different groups can collect the information, and at last, if there are 5 or 6 groups in a class, then the students are asked to present your collection before the class, before the teacher. So if some collections are left, at last the teacher can add his extra knowledge to the students, as a result of which the students they can have a clear idea about the environment. This is what we say the narration in tune with nature of the discipline. That these are the different approaches by which the content treatment and information processing can be done. So next that is uh, that is the versatile or the versatile of a lecture. Versatile means what? Qualities of a lecture. What are the different qualities of a lecture? That means the subject matter should be presented systematically. That means sequentially. And another thing that personality of the teacher. If the teacher possesses a good personality, then the students they can they can imitate the good personality of the teacher, and the students they will create interest to learn. If the teacher doesn't possess good personality, the students they will not desire to learn. Therefore it is the personality which can affect the students learning. And another thing that the teacher student ratio should be uh, should be good. That means teacher student ratio, it can help a teaching learning process. If the teacher is one, for generally what happens that one teacher teaches so many students. If teacher is one and the students are more, it is not possible on the part of all the students to listen what the teacher is speaking. So the students teacher ratio that should be minimized, and it should not be more. And another thing uh, that a lecture should be given skillfully. That the lecture which is given by the teacher, that should include many techniques. Without techniques, the teacher's lecture will not be an interesting one. Therefore the teacher's presentation of information, that should be good one. And it is the students group. That means the students group should be consisted of 5 to 6 students. If the such students will be created, will be formed, then it will be very easy on the part of all the students to understand what the teacher is teaching. So these are the different qualities uh, of the teacher. That is, teacher's quality is how to form the students, how the grouping of the students, in which 5 to 6 students should be included. And another role of the teacher is here in forming the group, that every group should be consisted of the students taking into intelligence level of the students. That so if one group students they have more intelligent, that means the group the more intelligent students are there in a group. If dull students are there in another group, if average type of students are included in next group or third group. So the teacher should see that all the groups that must include different types of students. That means all the groups should include the average students, dull students, and moderate students or poor students. These are the techniques. Then we will discuss now what are the disadvantages of lecture. Disadvantages means when the teacher gives lecture, the students sit idly. That means lecture places students in a passive role. The teacher is giving lecture, the students are sitting idly. This is one of the advantages. And it is also another disadvantage, that it encourages one way communication. One way communication. Only the teacher is giving lecture. This is one way communication, and the students are not given a chance to put any question. Sometimes the teacher does not allow the students, more students to put questions. Sometimes the student they put question to the teacher, but the teacher does not give uh, permission to put question to the teacher in this lecture method. If more questions are being put on behalf of the students, then more time will be consumed. Therefore, teacher does not encourage the putting questions from the students. And also another thing that interactive method is not at all encouraged. That means the students, they during lecture, the students they do not interact with the teacher. This is another disadvantage. And another thing, that to learn effective writing, speaking, and modeling skill, it hampers. That means only the teacher is speaking, the students, some students are writing, some students are not writing. So this is another disadvantage. And also sometimes the teacher is not using blackboard. This is also another demerit, that depends, that the students they face difficulty. So these are the demerits. Or now we'll discuss another, that demonstration is also another input by which the students they can understand the content, they can understand learning experiences. सब अच्छा लाइन रे ना नहीं
अच्छा सर
सब अच्छा तो से हमको मुगली ठीक है आप कत समरेला
सर ଆଉ 12 ମିନିଟ ଅଛି 7:15 ଯାଏଁ ହବ ଯେ 15 ମିନିଟ ଅଛି
नहीं टाइम हे गेले आसी एते शीघ्र
7ଟା ହେଇଛି सर
अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है so another process by which input can be given to the learners, that is the demonstration. What is demonstration? Science student क्या demonstration demonstration means what? Who can say? Demonstration means showing
something and elaborating
yes,
about that particular thing.
Showing something which is also involves elaborating. First demonstrate and you then discuss. This is the demonstration. And now we'll discuss what are the characteristics of demonstration. Characteristics of demonstration means, here what happens, that concrete and abstract matter can be effectively demonstrated. What is concrete matter and what is abstract? Can you tell me during demonstration what is concrete matter and what is abstract matter?
Sir, may I?
Sir.
What is? Tell me. What is concrete?
Sir, concrete means the matters which we can physically bring to the classroom or in front of the students. But abstract things are those things which students practically or physically cannot see, but they have to imagine. They have to, in their imagination, they have to imagine about that and they have to gain knowledge.
That imagine it is not so. But concrete material, that means what physically you can see, that is concrete. Abstract means discussion. It is abstract matter. What during the demonstration, something the teacher is showing. This is demonstration. Suppose some what that equipment, or that is the test tube or balance. It is concrete. Or when the teacher shows some concrete material, just like a flower, this is the concrete. if you discuss about the different aspects of flower, this is discussion. If some views are given about a flower, the views which are given about a flower that you cannot see. Can you see? You can say that flower has flower has 5 petals. Flower has such and such. Flower has what we can say that Brunta, Bruti, Dalamandala, Pumkasar Chakra, Strikasar Chakra. These are all these things are there. So this you cannot you can only you can see. This is the concrete. But if you discuss what is the role of petal, ये फुलर बृंतिर काम कौन वृत्तर काम कौन ये आम तो देखिपर ना ता विषय आम डिस्कस कर दिस इज द abstract matter. This is the characteristics of demonstration. And second characteristics of demonstration, that is best method of displaying skill in operation. That means best method in displaying the demonstration means it is displayed, something is displayed. That how we can demonstrate. This is the best method of displaying skill. So you should have to use your skill in demonstration, in demonstrating something. Suppose you are suppose example, suppose a car is there, suppose you are driving the car, this is the skill how you can drive. Similarly, when you demonstrate something, that how you demonstrate, that is the skill. And third one is demonstration is facilitated by audiovisual materials like chalkboard, film, strip, or recording, diagram, charts, LCD, USB. These are the different things that chemicals or apparatus. All these things are facilitated or facilitated during demonstration. And then I will discuss what are the principles of demonstration in teaching. What are the principles? First, what are the principles of demonstration in teaching? Establishing rapport. That means how we can establish rapport with the students, friendly relationship with the students, and how we can stimulate interest of the learners, how we can arouse curiosity among the students. That is the establishing rapport. This is what we say the first principle. Second principle, avoiding coic fallacy. Coic fallacy means coic fallacy means clear. C means clear, O means only, I means if, K means known. Coic fallacy. Have you written? Avoiding the coic fallacy. C clear, O only, I if, K known. This must be avoided. This fallacy must be avoided. That means E clear only if known. If you know about a particular thing, then you can demonstrate or discuss. If you do not know, you should never discuss or demonstrate. Therefore, avoiding the coic fallacy means clear only if known. If you are clear, then only use your idea during demonstration. This if you do not know, this fallacy should be avoided during demonstration. If this fallacy will be used, then demonstration will not be effective. Then third one is watching for key points. So main points that should be ensured, that should be highlighted. So during demonstration, key points must be written on the blackboard, or that must be conveyed to the students. The students should know the key points, and this thing the teacher should reflect on the blackboard. And then the last thing is that steps of demo. What are the different steps of demonstration. Before demonstration, what are the steps that are to be adopted by the teacher? First is preparing a classroom demonstration. Preparing classroom demonstration means that is a planning stage. Planning stage, how it will be planned, how demonstration will be taken place, and what are for what time, for how much time, or time, what is the time factor of demonstration. All these things are to be done during the preparing a class demonstration class. Second, this is the first, and second is um, second, that prepare written materials during demonstration. During demonstration, uh, uh, materials, different printing materials are to be, written materials are to be prepared. So without written materials, the demonstration will not be effective one. Therefore, this is all these things are under preparing a classroom demonstration. Classroom demonstration under 4-5 point रहला. First point है different. First point है to plan demonstration that will create interest. Plan every step carefully. Rehearse demonstration. For demonstration, what is essential, that is the very important thing, that during demonstration, if something goes wrong, then it will not be effective. Therefore, before demonstration, that should be practiced, that should be rehearsed. Outline the steps on the chalkboard. What are the different steps, or what are the different parts of demonstration that should be write down, that should be written on the blackboard. And it is very important thing that the demonstration, when it is conducted, that it is the duty of the teacher to see whether all the students are able to see or not. This is very important thing. And second step, that is performing classroom demonstration. This is the planning stage, and second step is the preparation or performance stage, performing classroom demonstration. And classroom demonstration, during the classroom demonstration, that first the teacher's duty is to generate curiosity among the students. Second is keeping the demonstration simple. The demonstration should be always made simple. Otherwise, the students cannot understand about a particular concept. Not disgracing from main idea. That means the real idea that should be given. That suppose you are teaching something, you are showing something, you are demonstrating some other thing. So this should not be done. That should not be reflected or diverted from main idea. This is what we say, not disgracing from main idea. And another point under this particular step is that checking continuously that demonstration is being understood. And you should put question to the students during demonstration. Do you understand? Or what is that? What you have understood now? And during that, putting questions that should go on during demonstration. And next, that is not hurrying demonstration. That means the teacher should not be a hurry one. He should not be hurried always. That if the teacher is hurried, then demonstration is not effective, will not be effective. Therefore, the students, they cannot understand, they cannot have a clear idea about some particular concept. Next, not dragging out the demonstration. Not dragging out the demonstration means what? Suppose during demonstration you are standing on the near the demonstration table. Suppose if anything you need, you should not leave this particular demonstration table, and you should not go hither and thither. You should not move around the class where this particular thing is there. You should not search. So everything on the table should be kept. As a result of which the demonstration will be more effective one. And another thing that clearly visible to all the students are able to see what demonstration is going on. And and the next is that sometime during demonstration some diagrams are sometimes given to the, or diagrams are reflected before the students, that summarization of demonstration. That means that means the teacher has demonstrated, that should be summarized and should be reflected on the blackboard. And distributing handouts, that material to the students at last. Handouts materials that should be distributed among the students. This is what to say the demonstration steps. And now we will just discuss within a short period we will complete that what are the advantages. Advantage means difficult concepts become clear during demonstration. Difficult concepts, the students regarding it, they can well understand. And it demonstration provides an interesting forum for the students. Demonstration, it creates interesting that the students they do not sit idly. Therefore, they are always in activeness, and they record observations during demonstration. The students they can also record observation what they are getting, and they develop skill. Another advantage that they develop skill, and here social development takes place. That means when the demonstration is conducted, that the student they develop cooperative attitude. That means fellow feelingness. This is the most important advantages, and then we'll discuss now what are the disadvantages of demonstration. It is not effective for a big class. If the students are more, it is not at all effective. They face some difficulties in seeing the demonstration. And second disadvantage, that it takes a lot of time for the teacher to plan. If some demonstration class is to be conducted, before demonstration class, the teacher takes more time to prepare a demonstration class. Therefore, it is a time-taking process. It requires the teacher's competency. The teacher does not possess skill of using different equipments, then the demonstration will be not effective one. It is one of the disadvantages of demonstration. And some demonstration requires natural environment. There are some topics which require real or natural setting, natural environment. It is not at all possible for demonstration that the students are not allowed to go outside of the campus. It is not always possible. Therefore, it is one of the disadvantages. And that something does not happen twice. That means you see, when when the teacher demonstrates on some experiment, that for the second time the teacher cannot again conduct the demonstration. This is the one of the disadvantages of demonstration. And now ହେଇଗଲା time ହେଇଗଲା. hello
Yes, sir.
hello
ହଁ sir.
ହେଇଗଲା time
Yes, sir.
ନା ଅଛି କେତେ
Yes,
time?
sir.
2 minute ନା 5
Sir,
minute?
sir, 7:15 ହେଇଗଲା।
ହେଇଗଲାଣି ଆଚ୍ଛା ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ଯିବା ନା ଆହୁରି କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କରିବା ବୋରିଂ ହେଇଗଲାଣି ନାଇଁ
सर ये यूनिट टा सार दियो
ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି ୟୁନିଟ୍ ସାରିଦେବା ତାପରେ ଟିମ୍ ଟିଚିଂ so what is team teaching means that all the students in a group they they will combiningly learn that means team teaching involves a group of persons or a team instead of an individual in the institutional process in the instructional process that means not a single person is included but more than one person one student is included in the team teaching and what are the other aspects of team teaching that team teaching team teaching when it is conducted it is the responsibility of the teacher in team teaching that when it is conducted the teacher's presence is necessary without the teacher team teaching is not possible because the teacher is the only person who can guide the students whether they are the team teaching is being conducted is going on or not this is the team teaching it is a form of organization in which individual teachers decide to pool resources interest and expertise in order to devise and implement a scheme of work suitable to the needs of their students and facilities of the institution that means as a whole we can see that team teaching is involved that means the team teaching involves a group of persons and the teacher is the guide and it has three elements that means a distinct group should be formulated and a small faculty group responsible for teaching the students one faculty will be in charge of the group and number three that is certain persons who assist the teachers and the students that means there are persons who assist the teachers or the students who are they who are they certain persons who assist the teachers and the students when team teaching is being conducted that it is not conducted on the or as per the advice of the teacher it should be more responsible of the head of the institution therefore head of the institution that when head of the institution allows the students for team teaching and in the consultation of the particular concern or the subject teacher this is the very important thing and here what are the different characteristics of team teaching that one of the characteristics that it binds the teacher students and other academic personnel that in team teaching only not only the teacher subject teacher is present will remain present but also all other teachers who are interested they can remain present there and a group of teachers shares the responsibility of the planning that means ଆମେ କହିବାନି ଯେ ଜଣେ ଟିଚର ରହିବ ନାହିଁ ଏ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଅଫ ଟିଚର ଆମେ ବି କେତେ ଗୁଡ଼ିଏ ଟିଚର ବି more than one more than the subject teacher other teachers also they can take part in this group team teaching and what are the objective of team teaching objective of team teaching is to identify better talent and utilize them for the teaching of certain course in team teaching the better talented students are identified and quality of instruction is improved this is the objective that quality of instruction, it is improved. This is what we say the team teaching, and then I will discuss what the styles of teaching. Styles means the ways by which team teaching is best, the ways by which the team teaching can be conducted. Team teaching in the same class period, in the team teaching can be conducted in the same class, and team teaching can be conducted basing on specialization, special class. That means in the same class it can be conducted, or in a special class it can be also conducted. And then next, that is another style, ability based on team teaching. That means the team teaching, that in team teaching the different teams are constructed, different teams are established. So ଯେତେ ଯେତେ ଟିମ୍ ରହିବ, ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଟିମ୍ସ ଯେତେ ରହିବ, ସିଏ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ୟୁନିଟ୍ର ତାକୁ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ସବୁ ଗୋଟିଏ ଟପିକ୍ରେ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ସବୁ ସେୟାର କରିଦେବା। ଇଏ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଚାପ୍ଟର ପଢେ, ଏ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ୟୁନିଟ୍, ଏ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ୟୁନିଟ୍, ଏ ଥାର୍ଡ ୟୁନିଟ୍, ଗୋଟିଏ ଟପିକ୍ରେ ଯେତିକି ୟୁନିଟ୍ ଥିବ ସେଇ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଡିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁଟ୍ ଆମେ କରିଦେବା। ସୋ ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଭେରି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଥିଙ୍ଗ, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଆବିଲିଟି ବେସ୍ଡ ଅନ୍ ଟିମ୍ ଟିଚିଂ, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ସେୟାରିଂ ଅଫ୍ ୟୁନିଟ୍ସ ଇଜ୍ ଭେରି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ, and also this lecturing, seminar, discussion also can be encouraged. And a relay style means, what is the relay style? Another style is relay style. Relay style means a teacher is followed by another teacher after completion of a course. Suppose one teacher is teaching a particular concept. After completion of that particular concept or unit, another teacher can start from next unit. This is the relay style of team teaching. So did you understand what is relay style? Relay style means more than one teacher can teach the students. One teacher will teach some paragraph, and after the completion of that paragraph, other teacher can start from that. That means next paragraph the teacher can teach. And then this is what we say the demonstration team teaching. And after that, within 1 minute I can complete this unit. And what are the values of team teaching? Values of team teaching, instructional values of team teaching, that is planning, teaching and evaluation procedure adopted in the instructional process carried out by the team teaching. In team teaching, what happens is actually the planning, teaching and evaluation procedure, these are adopted. Planning, teaching and evaluation. Second is each member gets an opportunity to observe. In planning, in team teaching, what happens, in a team there are different members. All the members can get chance to observe how others teach. Team teaches one group, one teacher when he is teaching, or one member when one member is, one team is observing others teaching, others teachers teaching, then they can get some new knowledge, some that quality knowledge from different teachers. So each member gets opportunity to observe. They can observe the teaching style or teachings of the teacher. When two teachers teach, the students achieve higher cognitive ability. Suppose if one teacher will teach, higher cognitive abilities will not be made available to the student. The student, they cannot get the real, they cannot get more knowledge. When more than one teacher teaches, when more than one teacher teaches, the student, they can get different types of knowledge, different types of higher cognitive abilities. And another thing that it develops certain effective qualities. It develops certain effective qualities like tolerance. In teams, what happens? Cooperation is there, democratic outlook is there, tolerance is there. They can develop these qualities. And the whole evaluation becomes more objective, scientific. And when the teaching is conducted, and total of evaluation, whole evaluation becomes more objective and scientific. That and it is done by a group of students. When a group of students they come under this team teaching, they can get knowledge from different groups. And when they discuss among the group members, then automatically, even if the dull student, they can get knowledge. All the students they can get knowledge, but the poor students, they are they get the opportunity to get the knowledge from others. And it involves a thorough analysis of the whole instruction process. That means um, the whole analysis, all the groups, when the team teaching, all the members of the team teaching, when they are involved, and they can analyze what analyze on a particular topic, and they can get some conclusion, or they come to the conclusion, and they develop this analytical ability. And these are the different instructional values. And this finishes your second unit. Thank you very much. बंद करिया. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, and we will be meeting. ଆଉ ଟିକେ ସ୍ପିଡି ପଢିବା ଆର କ୍ଲାସରେ ଏଇଟା କାହିଁକି ନା ଆମର ମୁଁ ଭାବିଥିଲି 3ଟା ୟୁନିଟ୍ ପଢେଇବି ବୋଲି, ଇଏ ତ ଟାଇମ ହେଇପାରିଲାନି. ଠିକ ଅଛି, ଆଡଜଷ୍ଟ କରିଦେବା ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସରେ. ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଜଲ୍ଦି ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସରେ ଜଲ୍ଦି ଜଏନ୍ କରିବ, କାହିଁକିନା 5ଟା 15 ଜଏନ୍ କରିଦେଇଥିଲେ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଏଇଟା ସରିଯାଇଥାନ୍ତା. ଠିକ ଅଛି. So we have completed 2 units. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. ଆଉ ସେ ଯୋଉ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଯଦି ବହି ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ ପଢିକି ଆସିବ, 3rd ୟୁନିଟ୍ 4th ୟୁନିଟ୍ ପଢିକି ଆସିବ. ପଢିଲେ ଆମେ ଟିକେ ଡିସ୍କସନ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ଭେରି ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭ. ଠିକ
Sir, books ନାହିଁ ନା ଆମ ପାଖରେ, ଆମେ ଜାଣିବୁ କେମିତି?
ଆଚ୍ଛା, ମୁଁ ପଠେଇଦେବି କି ଏଇଟା ସଫ୍ଟ କପି ପଠେଇଦେବି?
ଆଜ୍ଞା sir, ଆପଣ mail ରେ send କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ.
ପଠେଇବି?
Sir.
ମୁଁ କେମିତି ପଠେଇବି? ମୁଁ ତ
ଆଜ୍ଞା,
ଜାଣିନି.
Sir, କୋଉଠି
ସଫ୍ଟ
ପଠେଇବେ
କପି
sir?
ମୁଁ ତ ଜାଣିନି.
Sir, mail କରିପାରିବେନି?
ମେଲ ମୋ ପାଖରେ କଣ ଆଡ୍ରେସ ଅଛି, କଣ ଅଛି? ଠିକ ଅଛି, ଦେଖିବା କଣ କରିବା ଆଉ. If you do not get the books from the center, then I will think how can I send this soft copy to you. ठीक, okay, thank you very much.
Sir, WhatsApp group भी ଅଛି.
WhatsApp group ଅଛି?
ଆଜ୍ଞା sir.
ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି.
Sir, ଆମ ତ ଏଡ ହେଇନୁ sir.
ହଁ ହଁ, ଠିକ ଅଛି. ଠିକ ଅଛି.
Sir, higher education ଅଛି.
Sir, ଆମେ ବି ଏଡ ହେଇନୁ.
ଏଇଟା ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି, ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା କଣ କରିବା. ଠିକ ଅଛି,
Sir, ଆପଣ ନମ୍ବର ଦେଇଦିଅନ୍ତୁ.
ମୋର ନମ୍ବର ହେଲା 876 double 3
873
567 58.
56758.
ସେଠି ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର ଯୋଉ ଦିଆଯାଇଥିଲା ସେଟା ଭୁଲରେ ଲାଷ୍ଟ 8 ଯାଇଥିଲା. ସେଟା ହଉଛି ମୋର ଲାଷ୍ଟ 58. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, ଆମେ ଯଦି ଆପଣଙ୍କ ନମ୍ବରକୁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ମେଲ ଆଇଡି ପଠେଇଦେବୁ.
ठीक है.
ଗାୟତ୍ରୀ ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ, ଭଏସ ଇକୋ ହଉଛି.
ठीक ଅଛି, ନମ୍ବର ତ ହେଲା. ଠିକ ଅଛି, you can Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
sir.
अजय सर बंद करिया
गायत्री मैडम जदि आपण व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बनैछन्ते हमकु भी टिके ऐड कर दियो तो
ठीक है ऐड कर दियो ओके थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you, sir. गायत्री मैडम आपनका पाखरे को ग्रुप रे आपण अछंती हेलो
गायत्री मैडम ऑडिबल होनी
Next class. Yes, sir.
हेलो
Yes.
ठीक अछि मैडम नेक्स्ट क्लास रे कथा बता ले